Alright, so I thought I'd do a little bit of commentated gameplay for Gundam Breaker 3. I was getting really tired of Neo, just all the artificial difficulty. It just felt like the progression just kind of stopped past a certain point. I had someone tell me that I would have had to go through another 50 floors of the Abyss to not get one shot by everything. So I wanted to explore a new challenge. I did have some money, and they're doing the Golden Week sale. So I went ahead and went on the Singaporean PlayStation Store and picked this up. I think it was like $32 after the PlayAsia markup. Overall, I've been enjoying it quite a bit. I like the customization. I dislike some parts of the grind. The frame rate has been like borderline giving me a headache. They really need to put this on PC or something and make it run better. But the gameplay almost makes up for it. I do tend to get like headaches and stuff when the frame rate is too low. So it has been kind of hard for me to play this for long periods of time, but I'm really addicted to the customization and stuff. So right now, I've got a pretty obvious, if you watch my channel, a martial arts build. I'm working on maxing out the proficiency and stuff so that I can have a little bit more build freedom. I've got Sekiha Tenkyoken. Really the only Gundam I enjoyed was G Gundam, because it was mostly fighting and not just a ton of politics and stuff. And I tried watching Gundam Wing back when that was on Toonami, and it just felt like it was like 70% politics and like 30% cool robots doing cool stuff. So I like that they have a lot of G Gundam stuff in this game. I've got this, which is like basically a string. You can also hold it down and go straight to the launcher. This is actually pretty nice for a traversal and also pursuing an enemy after you launch them away. And the rest of this stuff I don't really use yet. So let's just go straight into a fight. I can't really do an overview for this game because I still don't understand a lot of the mechanics. I don't have everything unlocked as well. For as mechanically robust and how deep the customization is, this game does a terrible job of explaining anything. The one reason why I've been streaming this game is because people have been playing it for a while. The game's been out for about 3 years, so I wouldn't really say it's a solved game. It's just that there's like not a lot of information in English. So I've kind of had to just learn things as I go, and people have been nice enough to give me some support, but that's basically been it, really. Like, it's indescribable how bad the game, like, teaches you things. Like, it'll give you a tooltip for something, and there's no, like, compendium to go back and see it again, so I've actually resorted to taking screenshots of some of the new mechanics that get introduced into the game because I can't, like, ever go back to them. You know, as much as people rag on Dynasty Warriors 9, like, that game does a pretty good job of, like, teaching you the new mechanics. You can also go back and see them at any time. I think this game is really daunting for new players, and I've definitely had a hell of a time, like, understanding what it is I'm supposed to be doing. But it's finally starting to click, and I'm starting to kind of get a little bit more build freedom. See how bad the frame rate is. Yeah, some people aren't sensitive to bad frame rates. I definitely am. I have a hard time with like below 30 FPS. Now these guys don't want to stagger. The combo system is actually really robust. It just takes a long time to open up, and you kind of have to build around moves that actually chain together. And I'm kind of finally starting to get to that point now. So the martial arts moveset has like an aura mechanic, and once you build up enough just by attacking the enemies, you will get a like an aura around your hands, and depending on how much you build it up, you can actually release it. Pretty standard, like you know, like meter type mechanic. Like, the game seems simple on the surface, but once you actually start unlocking a lot of equipment, you're actually going to be using the D-pad as much as you would like playing Dante in DMC 4 or 5. So that's kind of cool. There's definitely a high skill ceiling. The frame rate definitely holds it back. I fought a pretty bad boss on the last chapter that was just a nightmare with the current build that I'm using, which is all melee focused. I am starting to kind of incorporate more projectile attacks to help with that, but either way, it was not very fun. I turned off the voices because the lolly drives me nuts with the constant yelping. The story seems like it's basically just an afterthought anyway. I just released with 100% aura, so it did a pretty significant amount of damage. Apparently this has iframes, I'm not entirely sure. Ah man, my R was almost ready. Okay, so I'll do a regular fight after this so that you can get a little bit better gist of the battle system. I'll also go over my build too. Oh, I unlocked some new stuff. Gotta go with the Lubu Gundam. Okay, so I've got Induced Stagger and Induced Knockback, which helps with just not having them Hyper Armor or walk through everything. Damage to Shield, I believe, makes it so that you can break their Hyper Armor gauge faster. I'm still not sure on a lot of this stuff. Stagger Resistance is pretty obvious. Durability is just more health. Got Response Speed, which I believe is Attack Speed. Cancel EX action damage is basically when you chain from a normal attack into an EX action, you get extra damage, which, you know, I'm playing a pretty combo-heavy martial arts moveset, so that's basically just a straight damage upgrade for me. Avoid instant death is pretty standard, kind of like how it is in Dynasty Warriors 9. You can't get one shot in that game. You'll get knocked down to 1 HP and then the next hit will kill you. That's basically how it works here. And basically just a bunch of stuff when I, some buffs and some healing when I kill the enemies. Treasure Hunter for more, I guess, more rare drop chance. So I don't think I got anything mastered that time. One thing I dislike about this game is that you have to max out this proficiency before you can equip something at any time. So at the beginning of the game, you're going to be really limited by you know, what you actually want to do and what you have to have equipped. Like, I have some other stuff in here I want to use, but I can't use them unless I have that specific part on. But as you can see here, I'm going to be done with the Burning Gundam stuff very soon. And then once I have it mastered, I can use it with any other part. So let's go ahead and do one more level, since that was kind of a boss fight. I wasn't actually really prepared for it. It's a shame they've seemingly killed the franchise with the new Gundam Breaker game, and it's even worse that that game is on Steam. I think this should be on Steam. A better performance would definitely really help. You can see how terrible the frame rate is. It's like, I don't understand why it's so bad. I guess it was developed with Vita as a lead platform. I hear the Vita version is like even worse. It doesn't really seem to drop inputs, but I am pretty sensitive to that kind of stuff, so that's mainly why I play 60 FPS games. This is not the first time this has happened to me. I remember when they put out the Tokiden 2 demo on PS4, and the camera, the frame rate was so bad, like when it would use the right analog stick to rotate it, it was actually giving me a headache. So if you have that kind of issue like I do, then you might want to stay away from this game. But it's very mechanically solid. I do like playing it, so I'm putting up with a bad frame rate because it's a fun game to play. I'm a sucker for good customization and stuff. It's just there's not many games that really fit that mold these days. So I figured I couldn't really be picky, even though I don't really play low frame rate games that often. getting to the part of the game where the better gear seems to drop more often, so that's definitely been helping with the build variety. But the proficiency system definitely holds you back. I'm not really a fan of how limiting it can feel. Here's an example of some cool stuff you can do. Like, this just looks like a bog standard, like, licensed anime game, but it actually is very deep if you want to take it that far, which I think is cool. Hitbox on the Aura release is pretty deceptively bad. Like, even though it has that huge like visual effect, you have to be pretty much next to them. And I'm still learning the spacing for that. But it's pretty much just need to be right next to them. You can combo it in the air, which is really nice. It also breaks parts really consistently too, which is a good thing in this game because it's basically just more drop chance. Some of the missions, the levels like drag on. It feels like they would benefit from being shorter. I think this is definitely a pretty good example of that. But I'm sure as you optimize your equipment, you can probably clear it a lot faster. There also is co-op as well. I have not tried that yet. Jeez, that still wasn't the end. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This definitely should have ended like 3 screens ago. I popped my hyper mode thinking that was the end. Some of them are like a nice length, they're like maybe 4 to 5 minutes, and then so there's just some that just drag on forever. Alright, well this is definitely the end now. I have to say the hitboxes in this game are actually really solid for the most part. I did fight that terrible endgame boss, at the end of Chapter 2 that had like pretty BS hitbox on the breakdance laser attack, but in terms of the actual like player and enemy hitboxes, like the normal sized enemies, it's pretty much like what you see is what you get. There don't seem to be any crazy like Muso style hitboxes in this game. The defensive options, for what they're worth, are pretty bad. You can pretty much just dash cancel and that's it. There's no like just guard mechanic or anything. So you pretty much just have to play this game. You just have to rush enemies down because you can't really defend yourself that well, from what I've seen. That may change later on. I'm not an expert on this game by any means, but I've definitely noticed it doesn't feel as doesn't feel like I have as much control over dodging attacks in this game, especially when the enemy has a ton of hyper armor. Alright, well there's some commentated gameplay. I'll probably be streaming most of my time with this since I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm slowly getting the hang of it, but it's going to be a while before I can do like guides in it or anything like that. But I do plan on kind of making an optimized build and maybe making some videos on it. It seems like people are still kind of interested in that kind of thing, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and check the shop before I sign off here. Nothing new yet. Anyway, that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.